Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pressing Matters. I'm Scott. Thank you for tuning in today and thank you for your support. Today I'm going to be doing an update on the downsizing videos that I did probably 6 to 9 months ago. I started a downsizing project and I document it in a couple of videos. Some people have asked me recently, how are you doing with your downsizing? And I wanted to kind of give you an update. So in the original videos, I started to put together boxes of stuff that I could get rid of. And in my garage, which is affectionately known as my vault, I have a lot of thrift store records and things I picked up during the Great Record Purge. And I managed to put together 6 boxes so far. And that's about 300 records that I am going to donate. And they're still there. They're still sitting there in their boxes waiting to go to the thrift shop. And I haven't figured out when I'm going to go, and I haven't decided which thrift shop they're going to go to. I want them to go to a good home where they're not going to just get dumped into the dumpster. But I got to figure that out. But in the original videos, I also talked about going from the other end. So in other words, starting to choose records that I want to keep in my permanent collection and re-sleeving, cleaning them, listening to them, and re-sleeving them. So I've been doing that, and I'm getting ahead on that end too. So I wanted to kind of show you what I've been doing and go through some of the stuff that I've chosen to keep in the permanent collection. So I hope you find it interesting. Take a look at this. So this is the shelf that is underneath my equipment rack, and these are the ones that have been re-sleeved so far that I've put on the shelf. I have boxes of other ones I'm going to show you too, but just going to go through them quickly so you can see what has been redone so far. And that is the Gladiator 45 from ORG. This is the Analog Productions Living Stereos that I just reviewed. Here's a rare classical title, Gerhardt's The Plague. This is an ORG 45 of Suite Espanola, London Decca recording. This is a very limited Audionauts recording of Zamfir playing the panpipes. It's very interesting. This is recently reviewed. This is the Analog Productions, Acoustic Sound Series release of We Get Requests. This one I just did a review on. Sunday Morning Listen. Art Pepper Meets the Rhythm section from Kraft. This is the Music Matters 45 of Hank Mobley Soul Station. That's a keeper for sure. This one I've been listening to a lot recently. Dave Grusin. What's the title of this? I always forget. Discovered Again. This is a Sheffield direct-to-disc, and I'm really enjoying the sound on that. I chose this one only because it's very valuable. It's not my favorite pressing of it, but I wanted to keep this edition. This is the Mo-Fi of Gets Gilberto. Here I have Analog Productions original pressings of Waltz for Debbie and Sunday at the Village Vanguard. Great pressings of those 2 titles. This is the Classic 33 of Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. Wonderful record. This is the Music Matters 2x45 of Cool Stratton, Sonny Clark. My first Music Matters. This is also a Music Matters one. Art Blakey. Night in Tunisia. This one I absolutely love. It's Chet Baker, from Kraft. This is one of the Blue Note classics I just reviewed in the Great Jazz for Beginners. Something else, Cannonball Adderley. This is the Cat Stevens Mo-Fi of Teaser and the Firecat. which was a TAS list title at one time. It's pretty expensive nowadays. Decided to keep that. This is a Cisco of Asia. A great pressing of that record too. This is phenomenal. Sinatra at the Sands. This is a MoFi. Pretty rare now. This is a DCC pressing by Steve Hoffman of Night at the Opera, Queen. And it's really hard to get good copies of Queen records. Their own reissue campaign is not that great, so that's a nice thing to have, and it's very expensive too. These two records kind of are in the top of my Discogs list for value. This is the Japanese Master Sound edition of Wish You Were Here. Another valuable one is this MoFi Metal, Pink Floyd. This is, of course, valuable. This is the classic Led Zeppelin 4 and Led Zeppelin 2, classic. This is Ricky Lee Jones, Pop Pop. This is a rarity too, a 2x45, long out of print. These often end up in the top of my Discogs list too, so I put them aside. I love the records. I like originals as well, but these are great sounding records. Jean-Michel Jarre, Equinox, and Oxygen on the MoFi label. This one I always wanted a great pressing of, and this one is great. Isaac Hayes' Hot Buttered Soul. And then we have The Doors on DCC, Steve Hoffman mastering. And this is MoFi's Dead Can Dance, excellent record. And MoFi's David Crosby, if only I could remember the title of the record. If only I could remember my name. And then we have Analog Productions 2x45 Night Beat by Sam Cooke. The Millennium Edition of Aladdin Sane, David Bowie. It's a valuable one too. And this is the 2014 mono of Sgt. Pepper and the 2014 mono of Help. So those are the ones that are on my shelf. Let me show you some of the ones that are in the boxes now. So here we have this is a classic edition of Walton's Facade. I don't have the AP yet. This is the Analog Productions of Scheherazade, which I reviewed and love. This is a classic records edition of a Living Stereo title. Malcolm Frager, Prokofiev, Concerto No. 2. This has not been reissued by Analog Productions. Neither has this. Milhaud's Création du Monde. That's a great record as well. This one was reissued by Analog Productions. This is their version of Power of the Orchestra, and I reviewed that as well. Katanga, it's great tone poet. I would not want to be without that. Or Bluesy Burrell. This is a Prestige series reissue. Great titles. June Christie, Something Cool, has a soft place in my heart. I love this record. This is the Cisco version. And this is the Impex version of Ellington Indigos, another great title. I bought this on Chad's recommendation and I absolutely love it. This is Leighton Hopkins, Going Away, one of my first blues records. Then we have a Pacific Jazz title from Tone Poet, Joe Pass for Django. Great title. I reviewed that as well. I have a few Japanese pressings, and I really like these Laurie Anderson Japanese pressings. This is Mr. Heartbreak, excellent record. Joan Armatrading on Speaker's Corner, excellent. Chet Atkins, I like Chet Atkins a lot. I have some of the originals. These are reissues, all these three that I'm going to mention. This is on the Modern Harmonic label and is highly recommended. I haven't done a review of them, but this one is great. Workshop. This is from Classic Records. This is Chet Atkins in Hollywood. This is a great one too. That was a TAS Super Disc List title as well. This is from Speaker's Corner, also Chet Atkins. This was one of the first reviews I did, and I beg you not to go back and watch it because it's so primitive, but this is Joan Baez's debut, and that's a craft record, and it's very, very good. This is the 2014 mono. This is the mono edition from Analog Productions, the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. I figured I had to have that in my permanent collection. Then this is the DCC of Nat King Cole, Love Is the Thing, and the DCC of The Very Thought of You. Great titles. I had to have an Eno title, and I love this one, and this is a great pressing, the Japanese pressing of Another Green World. Beautiful. I love space age pop, and I love Esquivel, and when Audio Fidelity said they were going to do a reissue of this, I decided to get this, and I love it. Other Worlds, Other Sounds. I love mid-period Genesis, and this one is fantastic. Wind and Wuthering. This is a Japanese pressing. From the George Harrison reissue campaign, of course, I got All Things Must Pass. This is the second one I got because I think it's an excellent album, very consistent and a beautiful record. This is an original press of Aerial Boundaries by Michael Hedges. Great sounding record. This was my first super vinyl. I think I did a review of this too. Inagata Davida, Iron Butterfly. Gotta have that. And Surrealistic Pillow. This is the stereo edition from DCC, Steve Hoffman. You have to have this in your audiophile collection, of course. Ricky Lee Jones' debut. This is the, I think it's Kevin Gray RTI pressing, Rhino pressing. These are originals of Kraftwerk. This is a German pressing of Trans Europe Express. This is a German pressing of Computer Work or Computer World. This is a fabulous record I reviewed as well. Lou Reed's Transformer. This is the Speaker's Corner. Fantastic. This, of course, belongs in every collection. This is Roxy Music, Avalon. This is the Half Speed Master that I reviewed recently. This is a personal favorite of mine, Bridge of Sighs, Robin Trower. This is the Friday Music Edition. And I'm putting out a request to Chad to do a UHQR of this record. I think it would be great. Frank Sinatra in the Wee Small Hours. This is the 100 Sinatra collection from You and Me. These are great. Very, very good pressings. This one too. Songs for Swingin' Lovers. So that's box 2. So this is the next box. This one is the Analog Productions Living Stereo that I just reviewed. This is fantastic. Rachmaninoff. Rhapsody on a Theme of Paganini with Rubinstein and Reiner. This one was reviewed recently too. This is Janis Ian Breaking Silence, the 45. I do have original pressings, and this is the Carpenters Singles, a great pressing actually, and it sounds great. Soldier of Love, the original pressing from Sade. This is kind of rare. This one I loved, I reviewed recently. This is the Half Speed of Manifesto, Roxy Music. Then we have Coltrane and Hartman, great record from AP. This one too, Blues in the Abstract Truth. This is an Athena pressing of Stravinsky's Petrushka, and this is a reissue of a Decca London record. And we have Lou Donaldson's Alligator Boogaloo. This is from the 80 series. Great record. This is the Rhino reissue of Moondance. Great record. I think it's Kevin Gray mastered. This was a record to die for I did recently. Ray Brown Trio, Solar Energy. This is Bête Noire, Brian Ferry. I'd love to see a new reissue of this. This is the original, US. One of my favorite Sinatra records is Only the Lonely, and this is the MoFi Mono. It's beautiful. Then we have more from the AP Living Stereo series. This is the Saint-Saëns Organ Symphony No. 3. An original pressing of Stronger Than Pride, a beautiful sounding record. This is the 2x45 of Lady in Satin, Billie Holiday, beautiful. I did a review of that. Stick Up, Bobby Hutcherson. These are a couple of tone poets that were recent that I loved. Harold Vick and Blue Mitchell, beautiful records. This is a classic record reissue of a RCA Victrola record, Swan Lake, and this is beautiful. It hasn't been redone by anyone else, so that's a nice reissue. This is a reissue from Speaker's Corner of Erica Marini, Brahms Violin Concerto on Westminster, a rare record. Then we have a Picture of Heath, and this is the recent tone poet. I reviewed that. This is the original classic of CSN. I'm keeping that. I loved it much more than the MoFi. This is a Chesky Reader's Digest record. Very, very good. Wonderful sound. This is a Sarah Vaughan on Analog Productions or Acoustic Sounds series. Why couldn't they just have one name? This is a DCC Everest. There was a few of these. They're all good. I love them all. These are two that I really liked and want to keep. Those are mastered by Steve Hoffman. This is the AP Getz Gilberto. So now I have two Getz Gilbertos in my collection. And this is the Kenny Burrell, introducing Kenny Burrell from Tone Poet. That was my first Tone Poet, and I absolutely love it. So let's go to a third box. Okay, so we have Andreas Vollenweider. This is Behind the Gardens and White Winds. I just did this as a record to die for. This is the Roxy Music reissue, recent one from Abbey Road Half Speed. Excellent record. Two more from AP, classical. Original RL of The Nightfly, Robert Ludwig's mastering. Wonderful record. Muddy Waters Folk Singer, the 2x45, my preferred version of that. I love vocalists. Black Coffee was an essential for me. This is the AP release. Very hard to find now. Abby is Blue, Abby Lincoln. This is Kraft reissue. Very, very good. This is the original 33 of Janis Ian. I guess I really like that record. Tenor Madness. This is the Prestige series. Sonny Rollins. Another Robin Trower that I really love is this one, For Earth Below. This is the Friday Music version. This is a great, great vocal record and all around great record. Songbird, Eva Cassidy. This is a 2x45 from, I think it's Blick Street Records. This is Tone Poet, Gerald Wilson, Big Band. Moment of Truth. Blue Train Mono, the new one. Grant Green, Born to Be Blue, Tone Poet. This is a great classical record that I love, Pineapple Pole. This is a Classic Records edition of Capriccio Italian and Espanol. This is the Prestige series from AP, Saxophone Colossus, Sonny Rollins. I do like Maria Callas, and these are two reissues from Testament. This is a recital, Mad Scenes, great record. And this is a recital as well from Testament. This is also from Testament, and I think Michael 45 just did a review of the ERC of this title. This is the Testament reissue, and it's very, very good. A reissue of a London record, and this sounds great. I think this is Speaker's Corner. I mentioned that I liked the Brian Ferry reissues, and this one is really good, Boys and Girls. This is one of my favorite tone poets of all time. This is Dexter Gordon, One Flight Up. And another one of my favorites from tone poet is Bobby Hutcherson, Oblique. Grant Green's Idle Moments, I mentioned recently in the Jazz for Beginners video. Another AP release, Iberia, and the Van Cliburn. This is AP's 2x45 of Dave Brubeck Quartet, Time Out. And this is a classic 33 of Billie Holiday, Songs for Distingué Lovers. So I have one more? I think I have one more box. So here we have some more things. This is Caverna Magica, Andreas Vollenweider. Great record. This is the AP release of Acoustic Sound Series release of Ella and Louie. I did a review of that and I loved it. This is an AP reissue of Mancini's Hatari soundtrack. Great sounding record. Here's one of the first Analog Productions reissues ever done. And this is Virgil Thompson, The Plow That Broke the Plains, AP 001. I was with him from the beginning. AP 003. This is another great Vanguard title that they did. Here's another Athena record. This is a famous Rachmaninoff Symphonic Dances by the Dallas Symphony Orchestra. Great sounding record. Another Athena. This is the Prokofiev Alexander Nevsky. This is a wonderful reissue of an early stereo recording from Capitol, Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra. This is a great reissue as well on Capitol. This is Milstein, Dvorak Concerto with Steinberg. This is a very valuable record in its original pressing, which I have, and I need to add to this stack, but this is the Testament reissue. The Magic Bow, Michael Rabin, and another violin reissue, Milstein's Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto. This is a Chesky, Concert Favorites. These are great recordings from Reader's Digest. Great reissues. I think this is from Impex, Leonard Bernstein. You know, getting these Columbia records on reissues is really nice. They come out really well compared to the original pressings. This is the classic version of Bruno Walters' Symphony No. 4, just a hypnotic record. And this is Bernstein, Shostakovich, great record as well. This is a Chabrier España. This is a reissue on the Jubilee series. Very, very good sounding record. Better than the Mercury. Some of these are Speaker's Corners. This is the Peer Gynt. And España, famous record. This is the Carmen Fantasy with Ricci. And Three-Cornered Hat. This is great. Great London Deca material. La Fille Mal Gardée. Famous record. This is... who put this out? Forget. This is a reissue, though, of an early EMI recording, The Three-Cornered Hat. This is an EMI of Bliss, A Color Symphony, and Things to Come. This is a TAS disc list title. This is super rare, Corroboree. This is EMI Australia, one of the most expensive records I ever bought. Here's some early violin records from Testament. Leonard Cohen's Brahms Violin Concerto. And this one is the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto. These records are thousands of dollars in their original pressings. Testament reissues are very, very good. This one too, Beethoven Violin Concerto. This was in my Records to Die For. This was the first title. Massanelli Cid Ballet Music, just fantastic. I have the quad as well. This is a classic Everest title, Corroboree, another version of that piece that was on the EMI. Love that cover. Fun. This is a DCC of an Everest title, Villalobos Europe. I don't know how to say it. I'll leave it to you. These are classic Everest reissues, the three-cornered hat and Villalobos. This is a great Harmonia Mundi record. Handel's Water Music. Sounds fantastic. This is a clavier, Offenbach Overtures, EMI recording. This is an EMI recording as well. Sir Arthur Sullivan, The Merchant of Venice Suite, and The Tempest. And this is the clavier edition of Massanelli Cid Ballet Music. Excellent. This is a clavier of Saint-Saëns Organ Symphony with City of Birmingham Orchestra, Louis Fermot. Fabulous. Fabulous record. This is the classic 33 of Love for Three Oranges. I've just mentioned it in my Mercury overview. This one probably should have been in that video as well. This is Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto No. 3 by Aaron Janis, London Symphony, 35mm film recording. Excellent. The Firebird was in that video as well. This one probably could have been in there too. It's wonderful. These are the classic editions. The Ravel disc from Mercury. This is a personal favorite, George Crumb, Macrocosmos 3. Stunning record. Robert Ludwig mastered this for None Such. A lot of percussion in it. This one has not been reissued by Analog Productions. This is the classic records edition, the first stereo edition of this record, Symphonie Fantastique by Charles Munch. And then this is an absolute classic, the classic records, Prokofiev Lieutenant Kai Suite. I don't have the AP yet. It's out of stock. I can't wait to get it. And last but not least is Witch's Brew from Analog Productions. So you can see it's an eclectic choice of titles, things that have just recently come in, things that stood out to me, things that are valuable, things that are the best examples from each artist, you know, different reasons. There's so many to go through that I haven't touched yet. So it's just kind of an odd sampling, but I thought you'd find it interesting. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how you're doing with your downsizing. Are you thinking of doing it? And do you have any tips for me? Because I'm having a little bit of a struggle with letting go, and it's always that way. But I know that I'm going to feel lighter and happier once the other stuff is gone. So I think I will set a date and stick to it and get those over to the thrift store and start on the next batch of boxes. But until next time, I'm Scott for The Pressing Matters. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.